Maybe.
Raiders.
That's the rally cry. You heard it. Raider Nation, show me your shield tonight. Tonight we're not going to talk about specifically Fernando Mendoza or AOC or Pete Carroll or Kubiak. It's not about whether this rookie hits or that rookie's going to miss or this guy sucks or that guy's good. Tonight, it's about us. Somewhere along the line, Raider Nation has become divided. It's other people's opinions clashing with other people's opinions, which causes a fan base to be disruptive towards each other. I've heard if you're optimistic, people call you delusional. If you're critical of people, you call them fake fans. If you support one quarterback, you're in a camp. If you question ownership and suddenly you're disloyal. But here's what I know. When week one comes, every single one of us is going to be screaming for the same shield.
Raider Nation! Stop scrolling. The silver and black conversation starts right here. Hot takes, real fans, no filters. This is the show where Raider Nation speaks. So crank it up! And show me your
So, Raider Nation, tonight the question's real simple. Where did the divide come from, and how do we fix Raider Nation? Salute everyone. I'm DonutsDuncan, and this is my partner, JD.
Raiders first downs. So I'm going to ask you this, Duncan. Did it start with the Vegas? All this division, do you think it started with the Vegas move?
Ultimately, no. I think it's mostly been the turmoil of losing. I think Vegas was a portion that added to it, but ultimately it's all the losing. It's hard to keep a culture and fan bases happy without consistent winning.
Mm-hmm. Do we continue? I mean, eventually we're going to have to get over the fact that we have moved. We're now in Vegas. It's no longer the Oakland Raiders. Yeah. So I think there is some fear in Raider Nation that the culture is going to change because of that move. And in some ways it kind of has already, just by the way that our ticket sales are and how things have came out. And I knew this was going to happen when we went to Vegas. And it was going to be more chasing a dollar versus chasing the trophy, the Lombardi. But eventually it's going to come back because you can't just keep whimsing your franchise off of this theory that we're just going to make it's all about the money. Eventually you're going to have to put wins on the border or you're not going to be making any money.
Well, here's the thing though, like with Vegas is we don't sell tickets like you say, especially towards the back half of the season because we're not winning. But once we start winning, fans are going to start showing up more and then we're going to start getting our culture back. The problem is we don't win at home. We have a terrible record at home in Vegas. And everybody says it across all the NFL is Vegas is a fun place to go to as an away fan. And because Raider fans don't show up. But to be fair to Raider fans, this team hasn't given us much to go show up for.
And that really, in all honesty, that started around 2005, 2006. Once we got over that hurdle of 2002, 2003, and then you can start to see the diminishing of the franchise or the team itself, because at that point we were in financial hell. Al Davis had basically sold his soul to the devil to try to get that Super Bowl at the early part of the 2000s. And when it didn't work and all those veterans had to walk off the field and there was nothing to replace them, the drop-off was quick. And 2003 was the beginning, but 2004, 2005, 2006, you could really start to see it. And there wasn't we didn't have enough draft capital in the world to protect what we had already started at the beginning of that decade.
Yeah. Do we want to hit up the fans real quick and
Yeah, let's see who we got in here. We got 12 so far eyeing us, but the chat, that's where it's
got
at.
Robert Pena saluting. Salute Robert Pena. Got
What's going on, Pena?
What's going on?
Inland Empire Raider Mike.
Got Jack Gusta Fest.
Salute, Jack. Welcome.
The division amongst fans started with car dismissal. I think that was just another portion that added on to it.
Yeah.
Because even before the dismissal, there was a bunch of fans that didn't think Carr was the right guy for us, and they wanted him gone anyways.
Mm-hmm.
The dismissal and how it happened, like it just added to it. DT Raiders 64. Raiders have moved multiple times. Yes, that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a fan, you're a fan. Absolutely.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. And we're going to get into it because ultimately all this stuff happening, like whether you're positive about the team, negative on the team, whether you're quote unquote realistic or you always set the bar super high thinking we're going to get 13 wins every year, every single game day comes around and we're all rooting for our team.
Exactly.
That's what we're going to get into.
Mm-hmm. And for us, Raider Nation, in and of itself, and I've said this before, the organization depends on us more than we depend on them. So eventually it's going to come around. We have to stay united on the front so the team sees that and it continues. Now, I don't know in the galaxy of how much of this dissension is actually real and true throughout, but you see it, and it's like if one person has a comment or a take or a belief, then another person has to immediately jump on it as if though that person is not real. And then if the other person has a take or dissension about what's actually happening, now all of a sudden somebody wants to call them, you're a fake fan. You're a fake fan. No, they have a valid point too. Right? They do. Yeah. But where do we fix that? At some point you have to realize what your opinion is your opinion, my opinion is my opinion. And that's just it, because not everybody's perception is reality.
Yeah. Well, and then who's to say that you can't talk it out and then it comes out being you're both right in some sort of way?
Exactly. I had a great conversation on Sunday with a well-respected podcaster, and it was like, you know what? He said he eventually he agreed. He's like, JD, I never looked at it that way. And I said, that's just it. Sometimes you have to look at it from a different perspective. You know what I mean? And it's just like, the whole trial and turmoil leading up to the draft, of how, the finger pointing and, the things like that. And then, and then it starts to the one podcaster against another podcaster, which I'm going to be quite honest. And I don't know if Rodney actually watches our show live or whatever, or goes back and watches it later, but I have to shout out to Rodney Allenboard the way he does it. And how he brings his takes and his content, and it's just true, honest, and he doesn't go overboard. And his his presentation is really, really good.
Yeah,
that's why I like that Discord. I like that family, that all aboard family. I mean, I would love to put True Ferocity up for adoption, but I still love the kid.
Nah, True's awesome.
Yeah,
he's got some terrible takes though, like Shakur Sanders, but
nah.
Hey, he was the first one on board the Mendoza train. He was calling him out while he was still playing at Cal.
Yeah. We had some good conversations about that on the Discord.
Salute Gunsmoke. But
what's up, Gunsmoke? I mean,
as soon as Mendoza ended up signing with Indiana, True Ferocity is like, you guys, this is gonna be our guy, and we all started watching the tape because of it, and we're like, dang, this is going to be our quarterback. We're going to get him in the second round. This guy's good.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. He's going to be a first rounder. It's okay.
Oops.
We'll finish around where he'll be. And it kept going and going and going, and it just ended up being, hey, he's the number one pick for us.
But there was also the belief that midway through last season, there was going to be 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the first round.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So
mean,
you're,
wasn't.
picking at 6 or 7 or 8 was still going to give you the opportunity to get one of those quarterbacks. It just all of a sudden it stopped, and
Lamar
it.
ended up being exactly what some of us on the Discord were saying he was.
Mhm.
Nussmeier fell off. I think he had
Oh,
a
I love Nussmeier. At least that one year, that not last year, but the year before, I was just like, man, he's just a ball player, you
yeah.
know.
But anyways, this isn't about any players or anything.
Nope.
This is about us, Raider
Us.
Nation, the fandom, like the growing turmoil in Raider Nation. I mean,
Mhm.
like you brought up, is it because of the Vegas move? Is it because of Carr? Was it McDaniels? Like, I mean, I think you said it earlier. You said around 2005. Really, it just started. That's where it started adding up, and it just kept building up, snowballing and snowballing.
Mhm.
Here we are, and now we're at a
Yeah.
possible big turning point for our franchise. And
Yeah.
now us fans are jumping down each other's throats because we have different opinions.
We're patient to be impatient. It just seems like that's what it's become. We've become impatient trying to be patient.
Yeah.
And it just
Well,
and the two just don't work. I mean, eventually you just gotta realize that eventually it's gonna hit. It
yeah.
always it does for every franchise that goes through this, that go through 15, 20-year lulls. Eventually something will hit, and it has to hit. And I like where we're standing as a franchise, but I'm not liking how we're as a fan base, that we're not embracing this process. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it is a process. And once again, everybody's take is reasonable. Okay.
To an
If
extent.
a guy wants to watch a 5-second clip of an OTA pass thrown by a rookie quarterback and say, "Oh, look at that pass," that makes him happy,
Yeah.
right? That makes him happy. But also on the other side, as a realist, somebody that has more um, thought into the football process goes, "Yeah, that's a really good pass. I like what I see, but it is practice.
Why are they only showing one pass?
Why are they only showing one pass?" You see what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
mean, you could do the same thing with Justin Fields. You can take 5 or 6 passes and go, "Oh, look at how he throws the ball," and then you watch him 5 minutes later, and just against no defense, just running drills with just his wide receivers, and he's dirting the ball, and it's like, you know. And I actually literally at that Pittsburgh game, one of the Steeler fans, I looked at him and I go, "Are you watching this?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't." He goes, "I don't think we're going to be throwing the ball much today." But he actually did throw the ball fairly decent. He hit the tight end in the back of the end zone on the play. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, there's been ownership frustration too. I mean, Mark Davis, I think personally, has done a tremendous job on getting the Raiders where they are, as
mhm.
far as financial standpoint, getting their
You yeah, keep going
getting
with
their new
that.
facility, like setting up the Raiders for future success, not having to worry about financials at all,
Mhm,
continuing to build the brand of Raiders. And I
mhm.
think he's a tremendous owner. Now,
From a
yeah,
business standpoint.
well, still, even on a football standpoint, I'm completely okay with what he's done. He keeps going, trying to find the people that he likes. He went and got
Right.
John Gruden, gave the keys to the football side to John Gruden, and then that crap fell
Obviously,
apart.
yeah. Yep.
Not Mark Davis's fault. Okay.
Nope.
Well, he wants a long, stable franchise on the football side. So, what's the next best thing? He thinks it's to go copy the Patriot way, even though most of us Raider fans thought,
Yeah.
well, Patriot way has failed everywhere else except with the
Mhm,
Patriots. Why are we going to do that? He still goes and does it. Gets Josh McDaniels. McDaniels brings in his own GM, and he tries to run it exactly like he ran the Broncos, and it failed.
mm,
It was terrible.
yep.
Okay. Well, it got to the point where Mark Davis started listening to the fans, fired McDaniels. Okay.
Mhm,
AP had the locker room. Here's the keys to the car while you for this season. Go show me what you got. And then we go and have that great second half of the season played us out of our quarterback. But hey, we ended up with Brock Bowers, and then AP got his 2-year contract. He earned his spot. And then we started getting extremely impatient after that, I feel like. And then we had a terrible season with AP. Fire AP. Fire Telesco. Okay. Now we bring in Pete Carroll and Spytech. Okay. Now we got a terrible season with Pete Carroll. Fire Pete Carroll. He's not playing the rookies. He's playing daddy ball with the Suns. Like, it was a total train wreck. Well, now here we finally let Spytech, gave the keys to Spytech. Mark Davis went out, announced it. Hey, Spytech's under control. We're going to go follow his vision. He goes and hires his coach, Kubiak. Okay. Now, this whole offseason, they've been telling us exactly what they're going to do. And it's going to take patience. You don't rebuild Rome in a day.
It wasn't built in a day. Climb that mountain with discipline.
Yeah.
And just like with the draft, when we had the draft, a lot of people question the draft, and they have every right to question it. You know, whatever their football acumen is, and their background and things like that. Whatever that's totally their agenda to to question it. But I will also hang my hat on this: is that what I liked as a fan is they identified the glaring weakness of our team and attacked it in the draft. You know, so that tells me something. Now, we attacked free agency and filled a couple other spots that were weaknesses. So as a fan, I have to sit back and applaud that my franchise actually looks like whether they pan out, it's just the mere fact that you can see that what they're trying to do. You're starting to see, okay, there's an identity here of what they're trying to accomplish. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and you know, and I know that with free agents, when you sign 5 free agents, you're hoping 2 or 3 of them pan out. When you draft 10 players in the draft, you're hoping 3 turn out to be really good, productive, if not superstars of your team.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah. And now to bring it back to the fans, though, is you got fans that are calling out players like, oh, they're not these superstars, like Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, like guys that, oh, yeah, they're great players, but they're not right for our team. Hey, they're already on our team. Why are we even talking about that?
Right. Exactly.
How do we get better as a team? With the pieces we have. Went out
how do we make Jifty better?
Yeah. We identified we needed linebackers. We got linebackers. We needed DB help. We got DB help. We needed offensive line help. We went and got offensive line help. We went and got one of the best centers in the NFL currently. Gave him a nice contract while he's still in his prime. And he's still got years in his prime left. And we went and got another good interior offensive lineman who's going to be able to compete on our roster because of we don't know what our offensive line is because of absolutely terrible coaching and the fact that our current offensive line in the past 3 years has gone through 5 different playbooks. So how do us as fans get away from sitting there and just nailing our players that we have and go and push, how do we get better with these players that we have?
Yeah. Well, as fans, we got to be better anyways towards each other, right? Because Raider Nation is a unique combination of fans. It's very unique in and of itself. And we have to be unified. Believe it or not, like I said, and I'll say it again, they depend on us to be unified. They depend on that team, and that organization depends on us more than we depend on them. And so for us to be like this in the YouTube world, I guess, is not, we got to fix it. And it's like, if you want to have a disagreement. But the other night, there were some personal attacks against one of our guests, and then it backfired that way and this way. And it's just like, come on, guys. That if somebody comes on here and says I believe we're going 13-4, just say, I hope so. I doubt it, but I hope so.
Yeah,
But the
also,
hold on, the fans are the most important, and those include the fans that are here watching us tonight. So Darkside OB is in here. Salute, brother. Thanks for coming in. Alex 951, one of our mods, he's in here hammering it up. Now, remember, we select our chatter of the game, whoever is the best chat person at the end of our show. And so far, we have Arnie and Money Chuck are the two because they bring really good. Bring really good questions, which we can decipher and explain them on, and have opinions and have debate. Debate is disagreement.
yeah,
But
and
debate is not a fight. It's not a war.
yeah, and speaking of commenters and stuff that we can respond to and talk about, you had IE Raider Mike's
Yep.
stating, I'm glad we got our quarterback now rather than waiting till next year because now we can go BPA, give up capital, move up if that's what they want to do, and draft who they want.
Yep.
I
And
mean,
that question right there is the question that we've had as Raider fans for as long as I practiced since the day since Plunkett was done, right? When Plunkett retired. That is the question that we've had. And I know in 2014 we selected Derek Carr in the second round, and God bless it, he did a great job for 9 years for this organization. But he just hit one. He never got the chance to solidify with a team and a coaching staff and stay steady in that regard. It was constant turnover. It doesn't help, and I don't care who you are. If you're constantly turning over coaches and players and stuff, and you're not maintaining consistency, a good quarterback like that is not going to become great. They're just going to plateau, and that's what happened with him. But he did fix a problem for us. He did give us 9 years of one quarterback to where it was like, now all we have to do is build the rest of the team, and we just failed to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my whole opinion on Carr is he never had that team consistently around him. And the 2 years that he actually had a decent defense on the other side of the ball, like, we went to the playoffs. He's done very well on the offensive side. Like, we were scoring points. Yeah, he made mistakes. Again, he's not the greatest quarterback, but he was the guy holding that team together and getting us whatever wins we had.
No,
we never supported him.
Yeah. And going into this draft, because not last year but the year before was the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May draft, Michael Penix, and Bo Nix, right? Those 5 guys were taken within the first 13 pick or first 12 picks. Yep. And we were number 13, right? So we didn't get a chance to take a shot at one of those quarterbacks. Set us back. That set us back by not doing that. We go into this draft. Yeah, we got the number 1 pick, right? And we can question whether or not the value of the pick or any of that. But ultimately, it's like we got to take I'm going to say his name. I promised I wasn't going to name names tonight, but Afakasi Raider his statement was perfect. He goes, for God's sakes, give it a chance. Just give it a shot. I would be much more inclined as a fan to appreciate the fact we had it, we saw it, we took a shot. If it didn't work out, great. That's fine. But at least we took a shot at a kid that we thought could be our franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
That's just as important as sitting back waiting and waiting and waiting and wait. Well, what are we waiting for? Waiting to also in the meantime, we're just signing other people's backups to be our star quarterback. At some point you got to stop with that. I mean, it worked with Rich Gannon, it worked with Jim Plunkett. Great. It doesn't always work that way. Eventually you have to draft a quarterback. And I think everybody in Raider Nation knows that. Even the ones that disagree with each other.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We needed a quarterback. Hands down, the easiest answer on what we should do in the draft. And some people had legitimate reasons on why they didn't want to, but ultimately that was the choice. Now we got Mendoza. How do we move on? How do we make our team better? How do we win with Mendoza?
Right.
It shouldn't be, well, we shouldn't have drafted that guy because X, Y, and Z. It should be, okay, he's our quarterback now. How do we move on?
Right.
Genty's our starting running back. Okay, how do we make the run game succeed with him?
But get behind him.
Yeah. And like
See?
Darkside OB said, behind a better O-line makes Genty blossom.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, people want to throw out crazy stats on Genty on him being a top 10 running back when it came to rushes, and then him underperforming when it came to yards, but then they don't want to acknowledge, okay, he got hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any other running back.
Right. And I don't think he was coached properly either with that coaching staff as to keeping your vision, and maybe the backside of that block will open up and you can hit that portion of it. You know what I mean? Because there are some coaches out there that I tell you to run through the A gap, you run through the A gap. Okay, there's no 17 Bob Trejo pitch the ball out to Marcus Allen and they go, oh shit, I can't turn the corner. So he flips back, he flips his hips, goes the other direction, and then slices right up the middle because nobody's there. You know, there's not many running backs can do that. Even today. I mean, I know Bijan has some of that prowess in him. There's a couple running backs today that, you know, that can do a change of direction like that. But most of them, you got to say, when the play is called, get ball, go to the B gap. Or you're running a 22, you're going 52. Okay. There's 52 power. Okay. All right. Yeah, coach. And then you just run that play. There's no, you know, there's some running backs, they can go as a 52 power, but I'm like, wait a second. If I cut back off the center's butt and go the other direction to the odd side, it's going to be wide open. There's no linebacker there. You know, and then there are coaches, Josh McDaniels was one of them, that got mad when you did that.
Yeah.
I promised I wasn't going to say Nate Boy people out, that we were going to keep this as neutral as possible tonight, but it's just hard to do, my friend.
Yeah. No, I mean, but that's part of being a fan is like, we want to talk about our team. We love talking about our team. Like, that's flat out simple. That's what we want to do. And that's why I keep trying to say is like, okay, we have this now. How do we get better with it?
Right.
What do we need to improve? Like, how do we make our complaints and everything more, I don't know how to put it, but make it a critique instead of a nag kind of thing.
Right.
How do we build upon what we have? GoDaddy.com says Texans Super Bowl. Let's go. Hey, salute from Raider Nation. Happy to see you in here, even though you're a Texans fan.
Yep. Salute to your team. You got a good team. I love your guys' defense.
And for those that haven't heard yet, we are set up to have joint practices with the Texans before our preseason game. So
I kind of like that.
Yeah, that'll be very good for our team because Texans got a great defense and their offense isn't bad. They just don't click on all cylinders all the time. And little kinks to work out. And
our new shiny toy is going to get his first whiff at an NFL speed pass rush. He won't get hit. They still don't let you hit the quarterback in joint practices, but at least he'll be able to see how fast it is coming at him, especially when he has to take the snap from under center and reverse pivot and turn his back to the line of scrimmage. So that's going to be great for him, especially in the scouting evaluation portion of where he's going to be at, and just that get those repetitions in, because that's what it's going to come down to with him doing that. It's just doing it over and over and over again, and where it basically becomes part of his game.
Yeah. Have a good night, Darkside. Thanks.
Darkside, thank you. Salute, bro.
But yeah, no. Another thing that'll be interesting for us Raider fans, because a lot of Raider fans wanted who to be drafted by us in the second round. We wanted a lot of fans wanted what was it, Caden McDonald?
Caden McDonald from Ohio State.
Yeah. So if he's
I still have my eye on that situation.
If he's out there torching us in the preseason and practice, like there's gonna be a lot of angry.
Yeah.
Overall, how do you guys think you will turn out record wise? Rank. I can see a range of anywhere from 4 to 9 total wins. I mean, obviously we got the Jets, the Dolphins, the Cardinals, and who is the other bottom tier team that we're playing? We're playing 4 of them.
These are the guys that are already in tank mode: Miami, the Jets, and the Cardinals. They're already in tank mode.
I think there was one other team that we're playing that's like that.
Well, we can discuss a lot of that later.
Yeah.
But I'm going to answer GoDaddy's question from my standpoint, and these are expectations, not a prediction. Okay, so some people are going to go, "You predict?" No, this is not a prediction. These are my expectations. My expectations are: let's start with a 12-game season. Let's start there because our bye isn't until week 13. So there's 12 games. There's no riffraff in that first 12 games. There's no Monday night. There's no Sunday night. The travel is, even our back-to-back travel games are one to the West Coast, back home, and then to San Francisco. You know what I mean? So that in and of, you're still going to, when they get back to Vegas from New York, they will be able to go back into their normal flow of work that week, their rest, recovery, their preparation, all that stuff. Is just going to be almost like a home game, really, because the travel from Vegas to San Francisco is what, hour and 15-minute flight?
Yeah.
If that, so, I mean, you don't even get to, you hardly even get to elevation before it's time to come back down and land the plane.
Well, so heck, they could go old school and take the bus.
Get
some team bonding in.
That drive. I could
totally see Kubiak doing that, though.
That's an 8-hour drive, bro.
I can totally see him doing that.
Nah. Maybe take the bus to Los Angeles.
But yeah, anyways, turning out wise, I think realistically we're probably going to end up with 6 wins. I think we have a good shot at beating the Bills. I think they're kind of the imposter team this year in the NFL. Like, everybody wants to ride high on them because of Josh Allen, but they got rid of their head coach. They promoted their offensive coordinator, who likes.
I think was part of the problem.
Putting the ball.
Took the ball out of Cook. It took the ball out of Cook's hands in the playoffs both the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like, good Lord, man, why are you taking the ball out of his hand? It just, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. You got a 2-score lead and you're still throwing the ball with a running back that can just eat.
Yeah. And even though we can be seen as the worst team in our division, divisional games are always a toss-up. I mean, we've played the Chiefs pretty tough the past year and a half.
Chargers, Broncos.
Have been, we could have beat them both times we played them because the games are so close. The Chargers game, the first game last year, we should have beat them, but Geno Smith had 3 interceptions. I mean, you take one of those away, and we have a shot at winning it.
Nah, because I think the first play of the game, that didn't help.
Yeah.
That didn't help. So,
and then the Saints, I think, are another toss-up game, but I kind of think the Saints are going to be a lot better than people are thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't.
And the same with the Browns. The Saints and the Browns both. Those are not automatics. Those because we lost to the Browns last year, for God's sake, and we watched the game, and obviously it was basically we just sucked more than they did. Both teams were horrible, but we just sucked more than they did in that game. So going into that game, when we play the Browns, it's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be 2 teams that are fighting to get better. We have to go on the road, and 2, we'll see just how much they improved. The game that I think that we can steal most of all, not the Bills, but it is the 49er game. I think we can steal that game.
I could see that. I think that's another toss-up game. Ace Boogie coming in with the disrespect. You think he's a Broncos fan here? Salute to you, Ace Boogie, though. Appreciate you coming in. I don't agree with the 2 wins, but
The 16, the 16-1 says it all.
Yeah.
The 16-1 says it all. That's fine.
Yeah. But Sam Yarbrough saying six to
9 wins. There's nothing unreasonable about that. There really isn't. I mean, expectations are 6, but I'll take 8 or 9.
Yeah. IE Raider Mike saying we can win 7 games.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got a range between 4 and 9 wins. It just all depends on how we start the season. I mean, that first Charger game is really going to set the tone for us, like where we're at as a team. And then come bye week, like how much did we grow since that Charger game?
Nah.
Because we got that gauntlet in October where it's just rough.
Yeah, I think week 5 to week 12. And the only reprieve really we have in that, looking at it, if you're comparing last year to this year's quality of teams, is the Browns is the only ones that I can think of. Bueno, welcome to Show Me Your Shoe. So San Francisco, it's interesting, and the reason why I say it's interesting is because talking to a friend of mine that's a Niners fan is I don't really think they're going to run with what they had last year. And last year there was a lot of injuries on that team last year.
Yeah.
And Shanahan did a really good job coaching them up and keeping them competitive throughout the year, but it finally caught up to them in that Seattle game when they just got BTA'd in that game.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what BTA stands for, so I don't have to repeat it. But that game in and of itself showed something. And if they go into next season like that, and you got to remember, Kittle tore his Achilles in the playoffs. It's not like he tore his Achilles in week 4 last year. And those Achilles tendons like that, especially a guy of his age, is not, and being a tight end is not. I mean, who's to say everybody heals in a different way? I get that, but don't make promises. And that offense runs through Kittle. As much as they have McCaffrey, Kittle beats that drum pretty dang good for that offense. So without him, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Bueno, bringing us back to our main topic on Raider Nation has always been divided. I disagree.
There was a time where I can go back far. And right before we came back to Oakland, you can start to kind of see it a little bit. When Mike White was our head coach, you can kind of start to see a little bit of it then. And then once the first couple years John Gruden was here, there was a little bit as well. And then once 2001, 2002, and 2001 and 2002 kicked off, then you can start to see it come together again.
Yeah. And
then it wasn't, we weren't so much arguing over who the best players were. Our arguments basically at that time is what the outcome of the games were going to be, because we were all into the games at that point. You know, we can without a shadow of a doubt, the last 3 years say by week 4, a lot of us were tuning out, and you can't disagree with that. There were more Raider fans watching college football on Saturdays than there were watching Raider games on Sundays.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's just with the constant losing year after year, like there's always going to be divide. There's always going to be fans pissed off. There's always going to be turmoil within the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
It's ultimately winning cures all. And that's why we got to be patient. I mean, I've been saying it for the last 3 seasons, but this year it's like, okay, they're finally making the moves that actually look like you can sit there, buy in, give it time. If it works out, great. If not, hey, we did everything right. It just didn't pan out this time. Now we need to start again, kind of thing. And
it could be just a tweak here and a tweak there that changes that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's maybe next year when we go into the offseason next year, maybe it's just a matter of just a right tackle and another wide receiver. Not have to revamp the whole wide receiver core, but let's say a couple of these guys they step up their game this year. I'm not naming names, but let's just say one or two of these guys from the last few years that we've acquired, they step up their game. You're like, okay, they could be a legitimate wide receiver too. They could. And go get that wide receiver one, because sometimes that wide receiver two is better when wide receiver one is just that good.
Yeah. Well, because it gives them, like, they may get only 3 targets a game, but those 3 targets are huge during the game.
Yeah.
And then, like, even look back at, like, with Hunter Renfrow, we had 3rd and Renfrow. It was like, where are we going on 3rd down? Because he's always open on those short down and distances.
Yeah.
But I'm not bueno. I love this take because I completely agree. I think I said it to you, Jason, the other day. Clout chasing. You got content creators out there clout chasing because they're trying to drive viewership that way. They bring in people that want to sit there and argue with them, and that drives up their channel numbers.
Yeah.
It's good for business.
Yeah.
Now,
and kudos to them for doing it. I mean, if that's what you want to do, and absolutely, I'm not always going to be right. I know that. I'm not always going to be right. You're not always going to be right, 100% right.
I'm always right.
Yeah. Okay. Stop. Okay. Stop. You are a C student. Let's face it.
Hey man, but all that matters is I got A+ on all my tests.
Yeah. So, but in the long run, none of us are going to be perfect. That we do this because we want to have fun. We want to engage with our fellow Raider fans, and it gives us joy, right? It gives us something that the passion of being a Raider fan is just something that is just, it's hard to explain to a non-Raider fan. We get it. We understand why. It's just having other people understand it makes it difficult. But we have to stay united, because I can tell you right now, there's a lot of outsiders are like sitting there going, man, their fans want to kill each other over there in Raider Nation. It's like, it is what it is,
Well, when we're always losing, and after every loss you're pissed off, and after every loss the other fans pissed off, there's going to be a lot of bumping of heads.
Nah.
There's going to be people talking shit about player X, Y, and Z, and then there's going to be people talking shit about the owner, and people talking shit about the coach, and other fans are going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. But some of the fans that have content shows as well, and this is where I agree with them, is they see the Raiders make a selection in the draft, a certain selection in the draft that they should have never made, and it just sets us back. And they're absolutely 100% right. There are some picks that you just go, I don't know why the Raiders took that guy when they could have taken Y. They took X when they could have taken Y over here, was sitting on the board. I don't know why.
We could be saying that since 2002 with the Raiders.
Yep.
But
and it's true.
Is, okay, the players on our team, how do we improve from there?
No.
How do we get better from there?
And that's important.
It doesn't do us any good sitting there saying, oh, we should have taken Megatron over Jamarcus Russell. That was how many years ago now? Like, that's not doing anything for a franchise. Okay.
And I know that the most recent is Tyree Wilson.
Yeah.
That one didn't pan out, and I get it. I'm on board with you. Taking a guy that high with coming off an injury that really wasn't that. He wasn't a wow guy in college. I mean, he had some good plays, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like he took over a game and destroyed people like Khalil Mack did. Khalil Mack single-handedly beat Ohio State himself.
Yeah.
That game in and of itself, it was like, whoa. When was the last time you saw a defensive end take over a whole game? It just doesn't happen. He did it. So by us picking him where we picked him was absolutely the smartest move in the world.
Yeah.
What's up, Cap? With Captain Rafukio, and we come together as fans, as Raider Nation, as he would say, quote unquote, there's only one nation, and that's the motherfucking Raider Nation. Yep. Salute to you, Captain Rafi, man. We love you, brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were going to say.
No, I mean, ultimately, it's just going to keep going back to we need to start winning games. And we'll start coming together more and more. Yeah. No. As long as we're constantly losing, we're always going to be at each other's throats because we all know better than the next man over how to make our team better.
And we all have, every Sunday, there's 64,000 GM and head coaches sitting in the stands. Every Sunday. But we at some point got to sit back and go, the GM we have and the head coach we have now, we got to trust him until proven otherwise, right? Until proven otherwise. And yes, we have to wait until, we're sitting here in May, going into June, discussing all of this as if we're playing games right now because there's really a lot of unknowns. So,
yeah. That's another thing that I keep trying to bring up when I'm talking to people about like our draft and like what our team's looking like now. Because there's a lot of fans that are really mad that we didn't seriously upgrade the receiver position. And I just want to keep going back and saying that they clearly identified what our issues were, and they flat out told us that they did not like our secondary. They thought our tackles were good. They thought we had 3 good offensive tackles. We needed O-line help, especially at the center position. So they went and got Linderbaum. And they don't know what they have at receiver. And they said that Jack Besh and Dante Thornton and Trey Tucker are all there first thing in the morning and they're doing their workouts every single day. And Spytech straight up said that they're going to stand behind their players that are like that. Spytech has told us every step of the way what he's going to be doing. We don't know what we have in our receivers. It's a waste of possible now I'm forgetting the word. But basically, it's a misutilization of player personnel. If you go out and just start drafting other players to take over that spot, and then you let those current players that you have walk and they go ball out for another team. We need to see what we got before we cut bait and let loose. So, big question marks at offensive line, big question marks at receiver. We don't know what we have. Okay? What do we know we did have? We had no depth at all at linebacker. We had no depth at all at the DB positions. We had 2 strong safeties and then a special teams player as our third safety. So what they go and do? They went and seriously upgraded the linebackers in free agency. They went and got a possibly great slot corner who hasn't showed up for the voluntary practices yet. They went and drafted, 4 DBs. They got 2 safeties and 2 cornerbacks. And then they got another edge player, and they let Tyree go.
And we traded for a cornerback in the offseason.
Yeah, that was the slot corner that I mentioned, Tyron Johnson.
Yeah.
So we're very clear on their moves on like, okay, we know what we have here, so this is what we're going to focus on. We don't know what we have here, so we'll add some pieces to compete there, but we need to figure out what we have there before we start seriously trying to upgrade.
Right. And eventually we want to get to the point where we're picking 23, 24, 25, 28, 32.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It sucks picking number 1. It really does. It sucks. It just the hell we had to endure last year just to get that number 1 pick. And in a roundabout way, I agree that it's like, and some people are, they feel like it put us in a corner to where we had, and it's like, no, we're not in a corner. That's not how this works. We could take whoever we want at number 1.
Yeah.
But and I know this draft was not, there's no absolutes in this. There were no absolutes in this draft. There was no standalone Calvin Johnson or something of that caliber that you can absolutely say it's like, we don't care about the position. He's the best player and coming into the NFL, and we got the number 1 pick. You just take him. whether
Yeah.
you needed an edge rusher or, I mean, if we had 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers and the best player in the draft was a wide receiver, they'd be like, okay, well, hopefully we could find a trade partner and move back. But that doesn't, in this draft, and it, from what I'm hearing, is the top 10 picks in this draft they weren't at a point where people were gung ho to trade up to get somebody. And so your trade back partners weren't, if you think your number 1 pick is worth 2 first rounds and a second round pick to trade back, but nobody's going to give you that, you're kind of like, okay, well, we're going to do this because we believe in the kid anyways. So, and to be quite honest with you, but I think before we even had the number 1 pick locked down, he was a target for us. I think he was a target for us in late November.
But the point I was getting at is now we've made clear cut, like, okay, what is our actual weakness now? We had so many holes where you could go any which way, and like, okay, we need players here, players there, players here. Now we have definite on paper weaknesses, but they're also question marks. So our linebackers, on the top end they're good, but we're super shallow. We get injuries there, we're kind of screwed. Okay, that's a weakness. Our D line, okay, we have a lot of solid NFL players, but we don't have anybody great outside of Max. Okay, so that's a possible weakness to be looking at for the first or second round for next year's draft. Our receivers, well, guess what? They're a bunch of unknowns, but that's all we have now. So now we're going to figure out what we have in them. Okay, yes, it probably is a big weakness, but now we'll know for certain whether these guys can play or not. Ashton Genty can't be the only guy running the football for us because the NFL season's way too long. We got a running back to help him be that 1-2 for him. We went and got our quarterback. We went and got a veteran quarterback to challenge him. So now we don't have to play the rookie quarterback if we don't want to. I think he does end up playing, but we'll see more as preseason comes up. And then obviously we have the best tight end room, but I don't think Michael Mayer is going to be a Raider after this year.
Yeah. I don't think so. And I think from a personal standpoint, he wants to excel his career, and he's not going to do it as a number 2 behind Brock Bowers. He's not going to be the go-to supreme tight end on the team behind Brock Bowers. He's going to be this. He's going to play second fiddle to Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
And that's just the way. I mean, there's a reason why 2 years in a row he was the runner-up to the Mackey Award, or whichever award it is for the tight end. I think it's the Mackey Award, right?
Yeah,
for the best tight end. Yeah. So Brock Bowers got it 2 years in a row, and he was a runner-up both years. So there comes a point in time. I'm sure when we drafted Bowers, he goes, God, I got to deal with this guy again now on the same team.
Yeah. Funny Chuck, welcome in. Buddy? Glad to see you here. I think influencers have definitely helped divide the nation, asserting they know more because they have a channel going completely outside the box on player analysis. I mean, I agree to an extent. Not going to say any names or anything like that, but there are people that do that. There is also a natural feeling to it, just because, like, Jason and I are talking right now, whereas you guys are typing. So obviously we're going to be heard more than the chat is.
Right.
And that's just the way it's built. So there is some inherentness to that, but we just got to take everything with a grain of salt. And, like, if I have an opinion and then somebody in chat says something that disagrees with my opinion, I need to have thick skin and not go after you. I need to go and talk to you about it. Okay, maybe we're actually agreeing on the same thing. It's just we're saying it differently, and that's where the confusion is. Like Jason and I, we had a little, not argument, but it's like a little bit of a disagreement on a point that you had, Jason, on a Saturday show that we started talking about in the Discord. We weren't actually disagreeing. It was just the way it was said made it confusing, and then we ended up being at the same spot.
Right, and that's partly my fault, because sometimes I say things or I give out an analysis, and just by the mere fact of how I say it, sometimes people take that to the extreme, and I don't really quite articulate it in longer form. And I believe the point being was the playoffs. The situation with the playoffs is if I had said that be careful that if for some reason we sneak into the playoffs this year, that could also be a bad thing. And what I mean by that is sometimes it can give false hope to what you want to do for sustained success, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're looking for, sustained success. Now, if they get into the playoffs and they earn it, let's say they come out, they ball out, and they win the games that we didn't think they were going to win, but they come out and they actually win the game, right?
Yeah.
It's not some fluke game that they win a bunch of fluke games and then Pittsburgh loses and Cleveland loses, and then all of a sudden we get the last wild card. We get into the playoffs, right? And what that does is sometimes teams will go, well, you got into the playoffs you were in the playoffs last year, so really, in all honesty, we're just going to do the same thing again next year, which doesn't translate to sustained success, right?
Yeah.
So you want to build on what you did. And a lot of time, and even players to a certain degree will go, I'm just going to do what I did last year because we got to the playoffs and do it this year in my off-season preparation and my training and my, and studying. And I'm just going to do the same thing. And it's like, well, what you did last year, you kind of got lucky with it. And this year you have to step it. You got to get better. Every year you got to look to get better. Right. So, and that's why like teams like the Chiefs, I know the Chiefs had a bad season last year. It was bound to happen. They were due for that. Right.
Yeah.
The law of averages eventually catch up to you when you're a dynasty like that you're going to have a down year and then they'll come back. They're not down forever. They'll be back. They'll be the Chiefs again, know.
Now here's my side on that whole take is, you could have a false positive with making the playoffs, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But how you make it take it from luck and make it sustained success is self-scouting.
Right.
It's a big thing in the NFL nowadays where at every single level there is personnel that's all about self-scouting. There's a person or a group of people that are in charge of sitting there and critiquing what John Spytek does.
Yeah.
Then there's a group of people that sit there and critique what each coach does, what Kubiak does as a head coach, calls he makes during a game, play calls that are made on offense, play calls that are made on defense, situational awareness stuff. And then you have your self scouts for your own player personnel. Like, okay, what players are really contributing to the wins? What players aren't? What players do better in certain situations compared to others? What play calling is contributing to wins? What just everything is all about self scouting nowadays because you can luck into 12 wins, like you said, luck into the playoffs, maybe get a playoff win or two, and then the next year you can fall flat on your face. Well, you didn't do any self scouting at all. You just thought, okay, we had success last year. Let's build off of that. That's not how it works. We had success last year. What was hindering us last year? How do we improve that? And how do we get better at the stuff we were already good at?
Right. And I think in 2016, that's what happened going into 2017 is we didn't properly scout that 2016 team that went 12-4 and go, okay, what can we do to improve that? Right. So it's like, okay, well, we know the defense was leaky as hell that year. That 12-4 season was us being able to put, it wasn't so much us stopping the other team from scoring points. It was us scoring more points and using the clock manipulation. Whereas it was like, because even that defense was giving up 3rd and 20. You have 3rd and 23. They're giving up a first down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Elite defenses don't do that. Championship caliber teams, you get a team in 3rd and long, you're coming off the field after 3rd down. Yeah. We're going to knock the hell out of you. You're not getting the first down. Thanks for playing. We're going to put our offense back on the field and run it down your throat again. So that in and of itself, they didn't self-scout. I mean, we basically said, well, we got Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Well, we got Khalil Mack. It's like, well, what are we doing in the draft in 2017? So, and there was talent to be had. We could have got talent to help that defensive side of the ball. The offense was clicking, you know, Crabtree, Cooper, Jalen Richard, Washington, Latavius Murray. I mean, the running game was sustainable. It wasn't like great, but it was sustainable. It was, we could get 100, 150 yards collectively rushing a game. Carr was playing his best at that point. Now, I think there was some PTSD with Carr in 2017 after he broke his leg, because you can kind of tell he was a little bit more apprehensive in the pocket. And I'm not going to say he was scared or anything, but, it's like, after a very graphic and extreme injury like that, you're going to be apprehensive. It's going to take a little while to get that out of your brain. It's like, okay, I can take a hit. It's okay. It's okay. So,
salute Severe. He had a point to add to the 2016 regression.
Yeah.
He was right. We won a bunch of one-score games where coin toss any team could have won it. Way more than odds would dictate.
Yep.
The next year we regressed to the mean. Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely. And that's also something that goes into my point on self-scouting is like, okay, how did we get to those one-score games and win them? How do we build off of it kind of thing?
Yeah.
How do you make it more sustainable? Well, you make it so it's not a one-score game. You make it so it's a two-score game, a 10-point game, a 9-point game. Like
exactly.
How do you take to the next level? Obviously, upgrading your defense to stop them from scoring points helps.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've just been making poor choices after poor choices and not realizing where our team's actually at to upgrade and sustain it and take it to the next level after we sustain it. Raider Ryan's coming in. Salute, Raider Ryan. Thank you for
What's up, Raider Ryan. Salute. Oh, no, T Severe. Thanks for coming in too, by the way.
Yeah. Salute, Severe. But no, that's the whole point on like me adding on to what you were saying about making playoffs and it not necessarily being a good thing for sustained success.
Right, and that's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying, oh, what do you, because I there was somebody that had sent me a comment. It's like, what are you saying? Making the playoffs is a failure? LOL. That was the comment. I'm like, that's not what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to tell you is it doesn't equate to sustained success by just merely 2021 was another example of it. Now, granted that it was an interim head coach. But if you look at the last 4 games of that season, we went from being on the outside to now we won a game. It's like, okay, we're in playoff contention again. Then the next week we win and 2 other teams lost. It's like, okay, now we're like the 10th or 8th seed, right? And then before you know it, going into the Chargers game, when we went into that Chargers game, it was like, dude, if we win or tie, we're in the playoffs, which was ultimately hilarious because we could have tied the game, know what I mean, and kept the Steelers out of the playoffs just by tying the game, And I think at one point that's what we were going to do until they handed the ball to Josh Jacobs and they go, oh shit, he just got 15, 18, 20 yards or something like that. It's like, oh, screw it, let's go ahead and try and get in field goal range and kick a field goal to win, because winning is more important than just ties. I mean, who plays to tie? I mean, if you're in a negative side with the minute and a half left and the score's still tied, why take a chance of? I mean, a tie is better than a loss. So, I can see at that point. But this ain't soccer.
Yeah,
now, you play to win the game.
Now, getting back to the self-scouting thing, though, last year, is there anything positive we could have taken from that we can improve on, that we can use for this year kind of thing?
Last year?
Yeah.
There is absolutely nothing I want from last year on this year's team. Nothing. If I could put all those guys that are on the team right now that were on the team last year, put them in a booth and go, or put them before a hypnotist and say, you will forget last year. You will forget last year. You know what I mean? If I could do that, if I was able to do that, that would be like, okay. Yeah. You walk up to Jay, so give us your take on the 2025 season. Huh? 2025, what happened in 2025? Exactly. we don't even want to. We want that season in a rearview mirror as fast as we possibly can.
Yeah. So now that being said, though, that makes 2026 a complete restart, completely strapping everything down and taking it all the way down to the foundation, setting the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
This year is a foundational year.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we're installing what our next generation of Raiders are going to be, or at least Kubiak's generation.
Yeah.
And now this is where we need to figure out what stuff can we build upon, what stuff absolutely isn't working, what players aren't quite there but could be possibly. Like, it's all about self-scouting. How do we take what we have now and improve upon it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to throw a topic out there as we're moving along here. This is for the Raider fan. This is for everybody in the chat. Type in the chat. Let us know what your take is on this. Can you criticize the team and still be a loyal fan?
Absolutely. But
I think that's kind of the buying power as a fan, right? You kind of it's like you're the customer, you're the person. We're the customer. And if you ever work retail or in customer service business, they always tell you the customer's always right. Right. So, and even when the customer is wrong, you still have to make them feel like they're right. And that's where the division starts to happen, is because we're doing it with each other. You know what I mean? And so instead of us criticizing each other, right, it's just criticize what the team is doing, or applaud what the team is doing. TC, for absolutely, you're only a loyal fan if you do, in my opinion. I agree. No, I agree.
I disagree. Look, all you have to do to be a loyal fan is show up every Sunday and root for your team. Now, it's upon you to decide whether you want to put more into the Raiders than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Severe does a good job going and reviewing film. He goes and scouts college players and everything, and goes and researches what he thinks is best for the team, right?
Right.
That's his version of being a loyal fan. You can simply go buy a ticket every single week and go to the every single game and be a loyal fan. You can buy the NFL ticket and watch every game on TV and still be a loyal fan. Like,
but the question is, can you criticize the team and still be a loyal fan? So I think where you're going with this is people that don't criticize the team, can they still be a loyal fan? Yes, they can.
Yeah.
But can you criticize the team and still be a loyal fan? The reason why I pose this question is because when somebody does criticize the team, in their opinion, other fans are starting to criticize them for them criticizing the team. Instead of looking at it from their standpoint, why are they criticizing the team, and say, okay, I disagree with all of it, I disagree with some of it, or I agree with all of it.
Yeah.
And then you keep your criticisms and your opinions, and you stay steadfast with those.
That's where we're getting into the fandom gatekeeping territory.
Right.
There should be no such thing. You should not be critiquing another fan on how they fan.
Right.
Like, I could be the most negative fan and think we're going to suck every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And then come Sunday, I'm sitting there cheering just as loud as the two people next to me.
Right.
Like, we're all fans. We all
Right.
show up for our team. We all cheer for them.
Right.
Not everyone can go to a game and watch it live. Tickets are expensive. It's rough out there for some people. Like, we get it. But you still go and sit there, listen to it on the radio. Go watch it on TV. Heck, go to the bar so you can watch it while you're drinking a glass of beer or two. Like, there's all sorts of ways of being a fan. And not one fan has any right to sit there and say another fan isn't doing it right.
Right.
And that's where I have an issue with it, because you're just being a gatekeeper. And here you sitting there saying how I need to be a fan for my team. Like, get the fuck out of here. I got no time for you.
Yeah. And one of our all-star chatters comes in with this. Can you be a loyal fan while going to the draft of Boo Fernando when drafted? Should we respect them and and their so-called right to do so. In all honesty, you don't have to you don't have to acknowledge them if you really don't want to.
Yeah.
It's just all how you go about it. It's um, and I know exactly what he's talking about. And
Yeah.
as a hardcore Raider fan myself, I'm like, man, how could we do this to the team? You know, and say, you guys are stupid, you're dumb, blah blah blah. Should never pick this guy or that guy or whatever guy it was, and so on and so forth. But yet at the same time, it's like, okay, well, he's on the team. He got drafted. He's on our team. And so we want him to be successful.
Yeah.
Whether or not that, and I know, there's, like I said earlier, there's 64,000 GMs and head coaches sitting in the stadium at any given time. But none of them are employed by the Raiders. They paid to go watch the game. They're not getting paid millions of dollars to make those decisions. So ultimately, we kind of got to invest our trust into now, and it's been difficult. Trust me. You look at the regimes that we've had for the last 5 years, and you go, how can we do it? That's what makes this the most difficult. Is we just keep changing and changing and changing. Well, now we've had the same GM for 2 years. Okay, now it's like it's going to take time for us. I would venture to say, Spytek is on a 5-year plan. We got to allow him to be in that 5-year window. Kubiak the next 3 to 5 years as well, right? And then the rest of them, the players are going to come and go, but we want to hold down the nucleus of what we're looking for as fans, and so we can trust the process and enjoy it. That's what we need to do, is enjoy this process, because it is a process. There's going to be parts of this season that you're going to enjoy. Absolutely. Yep. It's going to be way better. Last year, I'll be quite honest with you, the last regime gave up on us before we even started the season. When we got back from New England, it was pretty much over. They didn't, the coaching staff and everything, it was just, it was useless,
Yeah. Real quick though, my whole take on money checks thing is, yes, that person can absolutely be a loyal fan, and I don't have to sit there and watch it.
Mm-mm.
I don't have to sit there and disagree with them.
Mm-mm.
I can just be like, okay, I'm not going to argue with you how you want to fan. That's not my job. That's not my place. I don't think it should be any of our places. Just don't watch it. Like, at the end of the day, like, are you really going to let that sit there and drive you? Like, somebody else is hating on a player that you really like and really want on your team. Like, that's what you're going to let drive you? That's where it gets into that gatekeeping territory. That fan is doing what they think is right for themselves.
And the best way to go about it is, and this is my take on this, is yes, I wanted Fernando. All right. There's no questions. I've been labeled the president of the Fernando fan club, right? Because there's just certain things that I see, and I'm not a football expert, but I've been around long enough to identify shit when I see it, right? And call it when I call it. There's things that I see with this that just folds us into that. It is the right choice right now. Let's do it. And as Afakazi said, if it doesn't work out, God bless it. At least we gave it a freaking shot. Right?
Salute Izzy on Wheels. Thank you for coming in and watching us.
Some love to hate.
Some love to hate.
Yeah.
Severe's got a great point here. Unless your team's perfect, you should want them to improve.
Yep.
Maybe those criticisms aren't voiced outwardly, but you almost have to have some internal monologue about it, especially if your team is bad. Even if I got a perfect team, like the way I am, I'm going to sit there and try to figure out how do we get better. Like, if you're not trying to improve day in, day out, year after year, like, eventually other people are going to catch up to you. Other teams are going to catch up to you, and they're going to surplace you. So you're absolutely right with this, Severe. You should always be trying to find a way to improve, and there's nothing wrong with critiquing your team. Some people don't say it the right way. Oh, well, figure out what that message is, right? I talked to Jason about what I had a disagreement with, and hey, guess what? We agreed. That's all it's about.
That was more my fault though, because I
Yeah, but
didn't
we talked
expand
about
on
it.
it. Yeah,
We talked about it.
yeah,
That's all there is to it. If you disagree with something, heck, talk
yeah.
to the guy.
And
Maybe
I
you'll have
had,
a whole
and
lot
like
more
I
fun
said,
talking to the person and figuring out what they're actually trying to say than you just sitting there saying that the person's an idiot or whatever.
right. And I had a conversation with a guy, a content creator on Sunday for a good hour and a half, 2 hours on the telephone. And when I said what I said about where we're at in that draft pick, it was like, you know what? He goes, you know what, JD? He goes, I never thought of it that way. I go, it's just, if you look at it from an organizational standpoint of us historically, that not at least giving it a shot and running with it, because you don't know unless you try, right? You don't know unless you try. And if you sit and wait and you sit and wait, you're going to be waiting forever. And that's my point. If we can agree on, oh, he's good. We can agree or disagree on, what this and that and the other thing means, and and everybody's going to have their own opinion, and I get it. But in the long run, it's the franchise has to do something, right? Don't you agree with that?
Yeah. Mark Bates, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Severe is booing what you feel is a bad draft pick any different than booing what you feel is a bad coaching decision or bad play on the field? I boo so I can cheer. Uh, Again, fan how you want to fan. I don't give a shit. If it bothers me, I won't watch. Like that's all there is to it. Uh, Money Chuck Donuts at the draft among our fan. They're showing no class, bitching, booing, and yelling about a dry bologna sandwich. We all have different thresholds. Yeah, we do all have different
Yeah,
thresholds, but look, if you don't like it, why are you gonna put yourself in that situation? Like,
yeah,
just stop watching it.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
And
you're a
it's kind
fan
of,
of the Raiders, right? You
yeah.
don't have to be a fan of the specific person that you're talking about. Just stop
Mm-mm,
watching. Like, hey,
nah.
I, I'm not.
The easiest way is it's got to be water off a duck's back. You just gotta, and there's gonna be people that are gonna be critical, no matter what. They're gonna have their criticisms, and you just gotta. It is what it is. I mean, I some of the largest disagreements I have is with my partner on Saturday night. With this, he has his opinion. Okay, and
Yeah, uh, Money Chuck. There's fans from pretty much every fan base that do it every year. I mean, there's videos of people
uh,
saying what the
Jets
hell when
fans
it
are the
came.
worst.
Well, even Bills fans did it with Josh Allen.
Uh,
Now look, he's their savior.
oh,
If people did it with Mahomes.
yeah.
Now
I
look,
bet you.
he's sitting
I
there
bet you
saying he's
there.
the best quarterback in the league.
There's probably Rams fans out there that go, "Why are you taking Ty Simpson?" And then in 4 years, they're going to go, "Oh man, Ty Simpson's really good." And it's like, well, okay,
I
you
had to
know,
step away. I want to disagree. I believe we, the fans, need the Raiders more than they need us. I mean, they're still going to play football without us.
yeah,
I mean, there's teams like the Chargers that have 13 fans and they're still going and they're pushing playoffs for the past couple of years. So there is
well,
some truth in that.
yeah. Could I address Pops on this one?
Go ahead.
And the reason why I say that is because fans stay, players come and go. That's kind of the way I look at it. Coaches come and go, GMs come and go, but just like Pop since '64. You know, it is what it is. We're gonna be fans, and they depend on us. And that's my perception is that they actually depend on us more, and especially when we were in Oakland, there were times in the games and stuff that the team depended on us to be raucous and rowdy
Well,
to
I,
give that advantage.
I want to stop you right there because this isn't Oakland anymore. They're now the Vegas Raiders and they're now multi-billion-dollar.
Okay, I'm telling you, when we were in Oakland, as an example, they depended on us more to be rowdy and raucous.
Al
right?
needed all the money, all the help from us, but now they don't.
So you're saying they're kicking us to the curb.
I'm not saying they're kicking us to the curb, but we're not as important now.
I don't want to put words in your. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but they still in the long run, the franchise is going. They need us more than we need them. Well, you know what? I'm going to regress. We do need a good football team. We need a good franchise. We need them more than they need us. Pops is right. And I'm not being facetious. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being disrespectful when I say that. It just popped into my head just now that maybe it's time to look at it that way.
Without the fans, the NFL is the UFL. You can have the greatest product on earth, but if no one consumes it, then what does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
Well, ultimately, the thing is, we're still going to consume it, right? We're fans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, we could stop buying jerseys, right? I know there's plenty of fans that have stopped buying jerseys. I mean, for example, Jason, you don't buy current players anymore.
Yeah, I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Don't buy current players.
So it's like,
I'm superstitious, though. A lot of it has to do with superstition, believe it or not.
yeah,
There was, in 2001, I would only wear my Tim Brown jersey to the game. Because I just felt, it seemed like every time I wore Tim Brown, we won. And then one time I wore a different jersey to the game and we lost. And I was like, so I got, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm like that guy remember the Budweiser commercial? I don't know if you remember the Bud Light commercial where all the guys, the field goal kickers get ready to kick the ball and they all turn their bottles towards the TV because they're superstitious. I'm that way. I really, heads up on a penny, pick it up type person. I don't know what it is. That's just me. So the 75 jersey just means something to me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I know my dad personally, he loves Howie Long too.
Mm-hmm.
But look, I don't fully agree with my dad, right? But he does have a point where the teams don't need the fans, right? It's the NFL's gotten to a point where they're making their money by selling their TV rights. They're doing all these subscription stuff. They're selling the rights. ESPN bought rights for the Super Bowl, and then I think also the television rights to determine who can play the games on their channels and all that.
Yep.
So it's gotten to the point where it's gone past the fans, and the NFL is never going to be at a point where there's zero fans, right? So yes, ultimately my dad has a point, and the teams no longer need us as much as we need them. We need them to help our mentality out, right? Have a rough day, have a rough week at work, and then you go turn on the TV Sunday to watch your team go play football. We need that.
Right.
And guess what? All of us are fans because we're all tuning in on Sunday. At least this year, it's always Sunday. We're tuning in on Sunday to go cheer for our team.
No. And there's a little tit for tat going on right now in the chat, and
yeah, I haven't.
And I totally understand it from both perspectives. You as a fan have a right to boo anywhere you want.
Yeah,
you really do. In the long, and that's the objective of this game, of this tonight's show, is even those guys have the right to do that. You know what I mean? You have the right to say, I don't like the kid. Okay? You do. But I myself, I like him. And I tell you why. And if you don't like the way I say it, then fine. Don't listen. It's okay. Because I can tell you this YouTube stuff doesn't pay my bills. And when it starts to affect my household, I don't need it. What do I need it for? It's fun. I bonded really well and made some really good friends. And even with our differences, they're still my friends. I've had bigger disagreements with relatives that are Raider fans. We're blood relatives. We still are blood relatives. We still love each other. And it's just disagreements. And these go back years. This isn't just something new. This goes back to the Jeff George and, the Todd Marinovich, era, So there was my uncle, diehard Raider fan, was like, should have never drafted Todd Marinovich. I'm telling you. And I'm like, why? And then you find out why, and it's like, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't have drafted him. He looked good in college, but kid had some social issues, to say the least.
I think Jeff missed our whole point. We're saying we shouldn't be gatekeeping as fans. If you want to boo, go ahead and boo. We don't got to watch it or even give it any thought.
No.
Boo your heart out. If that's what you need to do, go do it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, we do it at the stadium, I mean, for God's sakes, how did we get to the point where Geno Smith, our starting quarterback, is flipping us off? Right? Somebody's booing. You have that right. You have that right. You are a Raider fan. You have that right to do that. I don't have to agree with it. That's fine. But you still have that right.
I'm not going to sit there and let it ruin my day.
No, absolutely not.
If you want to talk to me about it, I'm all up for talking about it, because ultimately it's going to be a football conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give okay, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. And as the skipper and everybody else will attest, and this is kind of like why me and you have come together as much as we have, is that sometimes it's just a matter of the knowledge is way more than you can. It's like, this is why. I'm like, you can take it or leave it. I don't care. Just understand that.
Yeah. Mark Bates coming. I think the fans had a ton to do with the McDaniels firing. They listened. No, absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
you were seeing all those videos of Mark Davis getting hounded to fire.
Chase down the breezeway and fans jumping in front of him and stuff like that. And
I 100% think that was the right move.
Mm-hmm.
Now, should they have given AP the contract after that? Debatable. I think they should have kept AP for his full contract. I mean, we wouldn't have been in any different situation than we are now. I think there might have been small details that were different, because I think Pete Carroll actually did more harm to this team than what AP would have done. But it is what it is. We're where we're at now. How do we get better from here? I think instead of booing, we whistle like other sports and be the first NFL team to do it.
Look, Dad coming in with a hot one here. Yeah. Dad's aiming for the chatter of the day. He's got enough points already.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember we'd always freaking scream defense in the chants. Hey, it's coming up towards the end of the half. The other teams on offense were on defense. You're screaming defense every single time they're in that huddle. As soon as they're marching up to the ball, you're screaming defense. You're trying to disrupt their offense. That's all part of being a fan.
Yeah.
I was saying AP was a horrible hire. I mean, yes and no.
He
definitely earned to be in the position to be thought of given that head coaching job.
And I think the fact that what we did with Bisaccia, we let him go after he helped get us to the playoffs, right? Bisaccia did a really good job as an intern, taking over, especially with the Ruggs, the Gruden, the Ruggs, and to go 10-7. That was remarkable, right? In and of itself. Now, granted, like I said earlier, some of those games, the stars just aligned just the right way for us to win those games at the end of the year, But nonetheless, a win's a win, right? I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to call it an almost loss. Bullshit. It's a win. We got in the playoffs. And as a matter of fact, we should have beat the team that ended up in the Super Bowl. Got screwed out of that game. Because that actually was one of our better played games that year.
Yeah.
Alex,
I completely agree. I mean, hindsight 2020. But I was saying McDaniels was a terrible hire as soon as it happened. I was telling all my cousins and uncles that get ready for a long season or 2 or 3, depending on how long they let it last. But McDaniels is not the guy.
McDaniels is the type of guy that inherit a Super Bowl caliber team and tear it down just because he wants it his way.
Yeah.
You saw the writing on the wall as soon as they hired him and shit started happening. It was like, it was, and like this year is quote unquote a rebuild year, right? Unfortunately, I hate to remind people this. We've been rebuilding since 2023. We just keep changing coaches and GMs and stuff. And until we lock down that and be consistent in that aspect, the rest of it going forward is up in the air as whether or not we could sustain.
We're not letting the concrete dry on the foundation before we start building on it. But right now, we're setting up our rebar. We got Spytek, we got Kubiak, this coaching staff, we got a couple pieces in the player personnel. Okay, let it settle, let it dry. Let's figure out what our foundation looks like this year, and then let's build upon it. How do we improve with what we have now?
Mm-hmm.
And every Sunday, go and freaking cheer your hearts out for your team. And then throughout the week, go ahead and criticize them. What'd they do wrong? What'd they do right? How could they get better? What do they need to drastically change? Who needs to be benched? And then Sunday, here we go. Time to cheer for them again. Get our hopes up. We're going to get another W.
So, 401 Raider, Jeff, the skipper, salute to you, brother. Thanks for coming in. And stop telling people how they should fan. You should fan the way you want to. Man, good Lord.
That's the message we've been putting out there.
I would like to have that conversation off the air with that one. Only because I think the chat is the comment is really good, but I made a promise to you and to tonight that we were going to come in with Show Me Your Shield and make this about how do we fix this? How do we fix the divide? Right. And it's almost like tonight's episode, group therapy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be that way because it just, for some reason, we've gotten like that. Now, I don't know. Maybe I've traveled down the wrong road and because most of my hardcore fans that I grew up with, they're fine. There's none of this going on, and some of the guys that I grew up with as Raider fans, we've had there's a bunch of this draft that we disagreed on, but yet at the same time, they're like, you know what? You have to root for the guys that we picked. You have to. So, I mean, it is what it is, but the one objective in this comment from the skipper is absolutely correct. We shall not tell other fans how they should be fans. I just want that to be known. We should not tell other fans how to be fans. And that includes anywhere from their bold predictions of the results of the season to who we draft to what the score is going to be of the game that's coming up. Everybody is entitled to their opinion about that. And it doesn't make you less of a person that if you come in here and say, oh, we're going 13-4, okay. I hope you're right. But realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm hoping you see that it's not really going to be realistic. We've seen other teams do it in the past couple of years that go from 4-13 to 13-4. The Patriots just did it, went to the Super Bowl, turn around, boom, in the Super Bowl, right? That's not normal. Okay. And to expect that to be normal, like it's going to happen, we just got to be careful. But if that's what you want, I want it too. I want us to go 13-4. Hell yeah. I'll take it every day, twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
And if you're right, I'll be like, "Ooh, dude, you called that one." I didn't see it coming, but you called that one.
Yeah. No, so I will definitely be happy if we win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. some people say I'm too realistic in my thoughts. Some people say I'm a downer. Some people will say whatever. Who
Well,
cares?
you are. You
That's
are.
how I feel.
Yeah,
Like,
but
that's how I'm gonna
but
fan. But you know damn well every single Sunday I'm gonna show up and root for my team. Or
yeah,
win
but your
every single
your
week.
your mood compass points south all the time, Duncan. Come on.
I mean that's just me. I am who I am.
I am who I am. That's what,
Severe is saying a lot of people say AP was a bad hire. Will also say certain players need a second year to prove themselves because their circumstances. And I was against the AP hire until we beat KC on Christmas. Uh, so to me, I want to split that comment up into two different parts. I mean, for the AP side of things, I was pretty much feeling the same way. Like that, I think that KC game pretty much nailed uh, that AP was going to get the head coaching job. Uh, at, I know at the time I'm like, I mean, yeah, okay, he earned it. I wasn't too excited about it, so I guess that should have been the writing on the wall for me personally. Uh, but as far as players getting a second year to prove themselves, I mean, there's players that take 3 or 4 years until it clicks for them, and all of a sudden they're playing at a high level consistently in the NFL. So I don't understand how letting players develop is a bad thing. It at a point for like our team, like we only have so much talent, right? We were the worst team last year. We got the first pick overall in the draft. There's a reason for that. You need to let your players develop until you can find a better replacement or until they can actually succeed. Like you can't just sit there and keep turning over and turning over and turning over, which I think is why they chose not to get more receivers than they did this year. They only went and got Naylor and then a fifth round special teams player because they ultimately don't know what they have in their receivers. Is that a mistake? Maybe, but they focused to get better in other areas while they could figure out what they have at receiver. So I don't quite understand how it's a bad thing to think players need more time to prove themselves. DT Raiders, I do believe in the current staff and direction we're trending. I am hoping for 5 wins and only 1 blow up or blow out. I mean, I think that's a good goal is to basically be in every game.
Yeah.
Ultimately, 5 wins is better than last year, shows improvement. I mean, if we can beat those 4 bottom dwelling teams on our schedule this year and do it by two possessions, like I think that will say a lot for us because that means
beat them in a reasonable and beat them in a way that is convincing. Not so much by the score, but by how the performance on the field. That we dominate the game, we take the game, we win the game.
Yeah, and then with how tough our schedule is, if we can be in every game, like that's going to say a lot. That shows that we have something to build off with this team, with the staff, and we're heading in the right direction. Hopefully.
Yeah, I set my expectations. Right, it isn't a prediction; it's an expectation. The expectations is at least 4 wins. Take that season, break it into the first 12 games is one season. This is the core of our season of what the telling tell is gonna be going forward, right? So in those first 12 games, at least 4 wins, productive scoring, right? And I say at least 4 wins because there's 3 games in that 12 that are winnable, very winnable games today. As we look at it today, it could change later on. But as we look at it today, and then there's one other game that we could probably sneak out. And there's a couple 3 matchups in there that in years past going into being in the same situation that we can probably sneak out a game. So 4 wins in 12 games. Here's the greatest thing that I want. This is the best thing that I want. And I'm not putting any numerical value to it, except for I still want to, by week 8 and week 9, be able to turn on the TV, watch a game, and still be freaking interested in it. Whereas last year, by week 3 or 4, it's like, I don't even know if I want to watch the game. And then you watch the first quarter, and it's like, well, I guess I could go. I got other crap I could do. but my love for the team is so great. It's like I'm just going to watch the game, and I would mute the TV and just listen to it on the Raiders play by play because of that. It's more of a direct input from our team versus two guys that are work for CBS or Fox giving their takes and opinions on the game and the teams. So I like it better. That I mean, that's the way I prefer to watch it. But I don't know about you, Duncan. I don't know about the rest of the people that are in the chat. I think we can all agree that let's make this season worthwhile.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Make it worth us being interested in the season.
Yeah. I mean, even if we lose every game and we're in a 1-point game or a 1-possession game every single game, like I could be okay with that, just because it's like, man, we are right there. But how do we get the win?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like the Lions when they first hired Campbell. Like they went 0-10. And it's like, man, they're right there. Like they almost beating all these so good teams. They're just right there. And then all of a sudden they got their first one. And then it led to them getting, what was it, 4 out of their they won 4 out of their last 6 games. And then all of a sudden the next year they
turn it around.
Yeah. Severe recommented. Thank you very much for recommenting, by the way.
Yeah.
I was against hiring AP, but I said if we've made the hire, we need to give him time to develop. I absolutely agree with that. I said that we should have given him his full contract. He was only given a 2-year contract. He should have been allowed to coach those 2 years. I mean, look, we went and got a great coach like Pete Carroll and did nothing for our team except for make it worse with all the changes that he did. I think we'd be in about a similar situation, maybe with better personnel, if we kept AP. And we'd probably know a lot more of our question marks than we do now if we had AP last year, because he would have let the younger players play. But yeah, no, I completely agree with your take, Severe. AP should have definitely been given his second year in his head coaching contract. But
I think there was more underlying issues though with why he didn't get a second chance. And Mark Davis has always said when he came out, this is during the Jack, this is with Dennis Allen and then to Jack Del Rio. He said the exact same thing with both of them when they both were fired. Is it's not so much about the wins and losses, whether or not there's progression or regression, right? So with AP, there was regression, and it was significant compared to what he did at the end of the year as an intern versus what he did throughout the year as the permanent head coach. There was significant regression. And part of that was, he was forced in a situation that this is your quarterback. You will play this quarterback.
Yeah,
right?
But here's part of the problem too, though, is AP had no coordinator experience in the NFL. And the only head coaching experience he had was as a replacement for McDaniels, who got fired because he lost the locker room, and AP had the locker room. And once, like, the season was over, it's like, okay, is AP going to get the job or not? The Casey win probably sealed it where he is going to get the contract. And we all knew he doesn't have the coaching experience. He needs the time to grow and figure things out. He was making a crap ton of mistakes that we see regular rookie head coaches in the NFL make. And guess what? He had a lot less experience than all those guys. So, it should have been expected that he was going to make mistakes like that. He's not going to have the greatest handle on game management when it comes to running the clock, situational awareness, and all that, because he had a lack of experience. Now, that's not his fault. That's just unfortunately what his experience is. And he was given that contract regardless, knowing all those things, and then he was punished because of it.
Right.
That's why I agree with Severe. He should have been given his final year on his contract to coach, and maybe it would have gotten better.
Mhm.
I doubt it, but maybe it would have. But we'll never
Right.
know.
Right.
And yeah, AP got some good wins as an interim. Uh,
Yeah.
Absolutely, which is why he got that head coaching job.
And that was a lot of fun to watch that happen, especially after, you know, we chanted "Get rid of McDaniels, get rid of McDaniels." They turned around and handed AP the interim, and then it was actually fun to watch the team change and become competitive and worthwhile. Because I don't know about you, but there was after about the second game of the second year of Josh McDaniels, I was tuned out. I was like, this is ridiculous what
Uh,
this guy's doing.
Tech the Shield stopped by. Thank
What's
you
up,
for
Chris?
coming in.
Salute, man.
Appreciate you coming in. No, but look, the other thing about the AP situation, unfortunately, is they knew they were going to get rid of their GM. They wanted to go to Spytech.
Mhm.
So what does that say if they keep AP, fire Telesco, and then hire Spytech? Does that not make it seem like all of a sudden AP has more push when it comes to that
Man,
GM head coach relationship there?
yeah, how the hierarchy was established and all that good stuff. Yeah, it's just and I mean, I know AP was dead set on getting Jake Daniels. That was his guy. He wanted him,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it was. I don't
Telesco,
think where we were at, it wasn't realistic for us to go up and get. If we would have traded the assets that Washington was wanting for that second pick, we would. It would be a ultimate disaster. We wouldn't have any draft pick. We probably wouldn't have draft picks until next year.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
okay. So say it puts us in a worse situation, at least short term, right? So we don't have Bowers, we don't have JPJ. Well, now we
Mhm.
have huge definite holes in our roster, and
Mhm.
now we go attack those holes because they're so glaring. Is it not possible that all of a sudden it's fixed faster and then we're a better team because of it?
Well, but when you move up to get a guy like that in the draft, and you give up draft capital, that kind of draft capital that they were going to want, you just waste. You're basically going to waste 2 years, if not more, of your protege that you drafted at that position. So you still have to have something to where you can build around him.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree with that. I mean, that's the whole point why we got Kirk Cousins is it's allowing us to build around Fernando
Hmm.
until he's ready to
Hmm.
take over the reins.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, we're getting to a point in the conversation where it's like, okay, why are we focusing on stuff that could have been, uh, like we said earlier before the show even started? Is
Hmm.
like, why are we focusing on why do we draft Jamarcus Russell over Megatron? Why do we draft Genty in a stacked running back class? Like, hey, we got the players we have now. How do we take those players and get better with them?
Right.
That's where our focus should be at. It shouldn't
Right.
be. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't have drafted Genty. Oh, we reached with Brock Bowers because he's a tight end. Like it shouldn't. The conversation shouldn't be like that. It should be. We have
Yeah.
Genty, we have Bowers, we have this current offensive line. How do we get better? How do we play with them? What should we be
Yeah.
scheming up? How should our offense be looking to make these guys successful?
Yeah. And Genti is still a good running back.
Yeah, definitely,
He's
definitely a
still a
good
good running back. It's still something that you can at least go, hey, it's another cog on the gear that can maybe push us forward. He's not. I mean, obvious. I don't think he's a standalone, absolute quote unquote generational talent. But we could debate the value of the pick and all that, and I totally understand that. I totally understand it. But we took him with the number 6 pick, and he's on our team. And so you know what you have with him, and now it's time to like for example, we have to build a roster around Fernando, build a roster for Genty too, and Bowers. You know what I mean? There's other people to consider in this build mode than just one guy.
yeah,
Ultimately it's your franchise quarterback, that you're taking with the intent of him being your franchise quarterback,
yeah,
but you still have to build the rest of the roster
yeah.
for
Sub
other
standard depth.
players, you know. It's the same thing with the defense. I mean, people have their criticism of Max, and they like Max, and there's and I'm one of those too that I love Max, but we still have to build the rest of the defense to help him. He's not going to do it
Yeah,
by himself.
yeah.
You know,
Like you're saying, is we got to build the team for all these other guys too. Like if we're
yeah,
building up the run game, that's going to help Fernando. If we're
yeah,
building up the pass game, that's going to help Genty.
yeah,
Like it's all cohesive. It's a team
yeah,
sport. We
yeah,
need everything to improve everything. Like
yeah.
it's just all pieces of the puzzle to make us closer to being complete.
Right.
And hopefully, when this puzzle is completed, it don't look like dog shit.
Nah,
And that's what we're hoping from this season. Is we're hoping to be
yeah,
competitive in everything.
yeah,
And we may not get a lot of wins, but hey, if we're in those one score games consistently this year, I will take that as a win for this season.
yeah. I don't want moral victories per se. But after what we've gone through the last 3 years, this year, it's one of those that I kind of want to say I'm going to be the same way. It's like, you know what? Yeah, we didn't win, but damn, that team looked a hell of a lot better than they did last year when we played the Chargers. They looked a hell of a lot better than last year when we played the Broncos. You know what I mean? If we can get that, that's a win compared to what we've gone through the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So, let's see. This will probably be a quick topic to hinder on. How social media made the fan base worse. Um, Everybody uses social media to a different level. Um, you guys, and I say you, or this guy here, his generation, is social media is more. I don't know how much social media you do, Duncan, but um, it could be a detriment to your critical thinking. So,
Yeah. But it can also be a tool that's helped you in critical thinking. I mean, it depends on how you let it run your life. Oh, well,
mhm,
sorry. If you let it run your life, then yeah,
mhm,
it's definitely a detriment. If it's
yeah,
bothering you so much day in, day out, then yeah, it's a detriment to you. But if
yeah,
you're able to go and look at it, see other people's opinions, disagree with some, agree with some, have
mhm.
conversations, whatever, it's definitely not a detriment.
Yeah, have a
Don't
debate.
don't let it run your life.
Yeah, yeah, have a debate. I mean, take what other people say, when they have their opinion, you know, for what and if it's a dislike, it's a dislike. You move on.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I can tell you right now, between me and Jeff, been some nasty discussions, but I can still consider him a brother. He can call me right now, or I call him right now. We can have a good conversation. We can talk about anything, you know. Um, and those are going to happen. That's going to happen. But
Yeah.
what I don't want, this is what I don't want, is I don't want at the conclusion of all this is to everybody start pointing fingers. You see what I'm saying? And I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to watch preseason game with Fernando. And let's say, for example, he throws a couple touchdowns. The pro Fernando guys are probably going to say, "Oh, look at that!" Oh, and then or he throws 3 interceptions, and the guys are, "See, told you he's no good," because that's not a quality analysis, and I know that's not that. That's being lazy in your analysis of him.
Well, let them fan the way they want to fan, because
Exactly.
ultimately,
But have that conversation with them. It's like, okay, I agree with you. You look like crap. Look like crap. But I'm not gonna hang my hat on. It's and and I know, and everybody else, anybody that's been around football, know football long enough, you don't really know how good these guys are going to pan out until the third year of their career, anyways.
yeah,
You know,
especially in a
I mean,
position like quarterback, cornerback, offensive
right,
tackle, like there's
right,
certain positions that like it takes a little bit longer for some guys to come into how they're actually going to be for the rest of their career.
And legitimate franchise quarterbacks, legitimate franchise quarterbacks struggle their first year or two. It's a proven fact. Just because what we've seen in the last couple of years with some of these guys, having early success and helping a franchise flip rather quickly, it's like this year, if Drake May gets better, does better, if he improves on what he did last year, now we know, right?
Yeah.
He's legit. If Caleb Williams, and I think Caleb Williams will be better than he was last year, and he was pretty damn good last year.
Well, it's his first year in that system.
There
should be.
He finally got a coach that married with his style that could coach him.
Yeah.
That's important. That's very important with quarterbacks. If anybody has a chance to watch Bill Belichick's interview with Sean Hannity on the Sean Hannity podcast, go watch it, man. That will it so much makes sense. Even he was like, Tom Brady taught me some things that I didn't know. And it was just that, that marriage, and how, and I've used examples before. John Elway with Mike Shanahan, Bill Walsh with Joe Montana, Andy Reid with Pat Mahomes. If you take Pat Mahomes and put him on the New York Jets with Aaron Glenn as their head coach, is he as good as he would be with Andy Reid? I don't think so. I don't think that that's a good marriage, And I really like Joe Burrow, the gold standard of quarterback play right now in the NFL. I really, truly think he needs a head coach that fits him to take that team to the next level. And a defense. They need a defense.
Depends on how you use it. He's talking about social media.
Yeah.
I enjoy having conversations that challenge my thinking and where I challenge others. I completely agree with that part.
Yeah.
It becomes more of an issue if you take things personally or if you're in an echo chamber. Yeah, I mean, I agree.
And a lot.
Sometimes you end up being in those engaging conversations and they turn out well, and then all of a sudden the end of it is just like the other person's being obstinate out of nowhere, and then you just need to learn to walk away from that.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the biggest thing in those like conversations on online.
Mm-hmm.
Is it sometimes they just get to a point where you're going in circles over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to do a better job on like realizing that and then just walking away from it.
Yeah, and then there are people out there that will argue just for the sake of arguing too.
Yeah,
I had an uncle that was like that. He literally looked at my dad and goes, "I know I'm wrong, but I just want to argue." My dad goes, "The hell?" And we couldn't help but stop laughing. It's like my Uncle Jim's just sitting there. He's just starting an argument just for the purpose of starting an argument. And it's like, come on, really? Yeah. We don't need to do that. But my take on social media, here's one of the things that and this is probably my fault because I'm not hip to the lingo, I guess you can say. But sometimes things could be misconstrued when texted too. And that's why with me, if I have to send you 5 text messages, I'm calling you so I can verbally tell you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can, like, even in the comment section, a lot of people do this, and I see this on podcasts. They'll read a comment in the comment section, and it's like, I don't think that's what the guy meant by saying that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're only allotted so many characters within the comment section. So you can't really express your whole, what you're your input or whatever.
Yeah.
So
plus, I know like some people see text through a positive light. Not most people, I believe, see text in a negative light.
yeah.
So, like you could be typing something that is somewhat of a critique, but it's positive, and then the other person sees it and it's like, okay, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's also this old adage too that my dad used to tell me. He would say, son, sometimes it's best to remain silent and thoughtful than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Yeah. You see that comment?
Who?
You don't know the lingo because you're old. I don't know the lingo, and I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
Mobile Raider.
I still got a MySpace account.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember the password, well, isn't the actual website shut down?
No, I don't know. I don't really know.
Glass half full versus half empty. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Uh, no, but yeah, it, text conversations are sometimes difficult, but heck,
Mhm.
I mean, you mentioned there's people that argue for the sake of argument. Sometimes I'm like that just because I want to see what the other person's like point is. Like they're saying
Mhm.
something, but they're saying it in segments, and then it's like, okay,
Mhm.
but what's your actual point? Because it could start off like, oh, somebody sucks. Okay, why do they suck? Well,
Mhm.
they suck because they lost this game. Well, okay, but what in that game caused
Yeah.
them to suck?
Yeah.
And then the other, I think it was like Sunday morning, the Discord was going off, and I ended up playing devil's advocate because they weren't understanding the point that somebody made on a YouTube video. I just
Mhm.
wanted to say what their point was, and then I played the devil's advocate part and acted out that side of the conversation.
Mhm.
Uh, I, I mean, I just think you get a lot of useful information and being able to expand your thoughts and seeing the other side of stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, it
Yeah.
just makes you better at arguing when you wanna argue.
And there are some people out there that just want to argue for the sake of arguing,
Yeah.
And I get to a point where it's like, it ain't even worth arguing over anymore. It really isn't, you know, um, because ultimately what we're talking about, what we're arguing about as Raider fans, is just entertainment. It's
Yeah.
not life. Now, I saw a comment earlier about some funeral, and I that is life. That is all the what he explained. That's ultimate disrespect. But another Raider fan booing at the draft, he has a right to. He really has a right to do that. He does. You don't have to agree with it,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have to make you agree with him. It's like if I boo this draft pick and you don't go with me, then you're a sucker. He's not like that. He won't be like that. He's a better person than that.
What's up, Ardell? I
What's
know
up,
you
Ardo?
weren't saying stupid people don't understand that from what Jason was saying just now, but,
What's that?
uh, he was saying the whole stupid people don't understand basically the thought process of stuff, explaining things out, like why you're trying to get more information out of people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
there are some people out there.
yeah.
I mean, more often than not, the people that I meet like that are in bars and they're just completely drunk and wasted and can't get past that thought.
No.
So there's no point in pushing it.
Yeah.
You're at a bar, have fun.
Yeah. No. And so being a fan for 54 years, investing lots of money isn't real life. Well, once again, um, that to a certain degree, it is our life. Being Raider fans, and we all spend money. I mean, there's just hanging on my walls in the back. There's years of dedication. The two pennants over my shoulder, over this shoulder over here, that contain autographs that, one of the autographs I got when I was 8 years old. And I understand, money check. I understand, and I respect you, and I always but there are some situations, just like the funeral that you described. You go, that's over the top. What happened there? If I don't know if you were using it as an analogy or if it actually did happen, but my perspective of reading the comment, it seemed like it really did happen. And if that's the case, that's tasteless and classless for somebody to do that. But to boo a pick, you know, um, okay, that's you. But I can tell you this, and I guess I could just play the song. And I don't want to. I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna have to. I just have to play.
You've been loud all summer, talking like saying he ain't built saying he too slow. Every take you got, you standing on it now. Yeah, you real confident, I'll give you that for now. Say he ain't the one, say he gon' fold. Say it with your chest, be bold. Don't switch up when it get real clear. Keep that same energy all year. We gon' revisit this.
And that's where we come to.
People think
So-
you're ending the stream.
Huh?
People are thinking you're ending the stream.
That's not the end of the stream, but we are wrapping it up. We're 2 hours into this, and
Yeah, that's
I've had a good time. I think in the long run, everybody that has commented today has had a valid complaint.
Yeah.
It's valid. And I'm going to validate, I could validate each one of them, including the ones between Money Chuck and Jeff. They both are going back at each other. I get it. But they both, at some point, if you take the context of each one of them, they both have a right opinion. Both of them have a wrong opinion. I'm wrong a lot of times. I'm right a lot of times. But nobody's perfect like Duncan.
Damn straight.
Okay. Well, we've had a good time tonight, folks. We are halfway. Well, we're right at the start of OTAs. We got 2 more sets of OTAs and a mini camp coming up.
Yep.
And then we're going to have a dead period. We're going to try and get as much content out there as we can to you guys. Oh, by the way, I saw something today that was pretty cool. Is Rashid Rice failed a urine test.
Mm-hmm.
So those that will have implications going into because it's not. I don't think they can ding him on the substance abuse policy, but it's part of the conduct policy because he was on probation for it. So he failed the terms of his probation, which in turn gets him a 30-day jail sentence, which now the NFL can go, we're not dinging you on the substance abuse policy. We're going to ding you on the personal conduct policy. And we're going to give you a 6-game suspension like you had last year for the first violation. So what does that mean? We play Kansas City week 4.
Well, I may be misunderstanding it or not know the rule fully, but is it not also a repeat offense? So then he gets more severe punishment?
It could. I think it could. Well, it's not a separate offense though.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
as a
think they're gonna
condition,
punish
but as a condition of his, as a condition. So when he got suspended for 6 games for violating a personal conduct policy, his criminal aspect was you must follow the rules of probation, and he failed to do so, which now is linked to the original violation. So they could come back. They could come back and say, we're going to give you another 6-game suspension because you didn't follow your probation. You got a 30-day jail. You had to go do 30 days in jail because you couldn't follow your probation. So we're going to give you another 6 games. Or they can say, yeah, you know what? It's a violation of probation. It's not an actual separate offense, but you did not follow through with your probationary period, which in turn is a violation of personal conduct. We're going to give you a 2-game suspension, which I would rather it be a 6-game. That way we don't have to face him in the week 4. That's the only reason why I brought that up.
Yeah. To close out the show, do you want to explain to Queric where that song came from?
Lena, what, the song that I just played?
Yeah. You want to explain to him what it's from?
You know what? No, I mean, no, because I actually did that out of frustration. I used Sono AI to create that, and then kind of did it out of frustration, and then used a little AI to change our numbers on our jerseys at the end to kind of reflect what I was thinking. Because when you're the president of the Fernando Mendoza fan club, you got to step up the game, man. You got to be on top of things.
But yeah, no, the song wasn't Lean on Me. It was a song that he created with AI through Sonos.
Yeah, it's not Lean on Me. It's an AI generated. Basically, you go in and you create some lyrics, or you create a topic, and then it generates You tell it what type of song you want and length and all that, and it creates it. And it's actually a lot of fun to do. I did a song for my wife, and I did it in like 5 minutes. I typed it up real quick, and I said, Dad, and it created the lyrics. I said, okay, make the song. And like in 5 minutes, it created that song, and it was like, oh my God. And I go, listen to this, and my wife listened to it, and all of a sudden she started crying. Like, ooh, I hit the sensitivity bone on that one.
Yeah, that's how you get your ass beat, Jeff.
Yeah, pushing all the getting on the elevator and pushing all the buttons, dude. Come on.
I'm opening those doors.
Yeah.
I'm not letting them close.
Yeah. So, but hey, we appreciate everybody that upwards 20, 25 people sometimes in here, all the chatters. So tonight, I'll let you cast your first vote on the super chatter of the show. And remember, you can include biasness in this one.
I can? Okay.
Yeah, even if it involves DNA.
So, I think between Severe and DT Raiders.
Who you picking?
I mean, I have to pick my dad, obviously. Sorry, Severe.
Absolutely. Severe came in with some good takes tonight, man. And, Money Chuck as well. He's still, I know there's some frustration and whatnot, and but he still is a loyal fan. He's a hardcore fan, just like everybody else that's in YouTube land. And there's some guys out there that have channels that you just go, who the heck is this guy? He's still a fan. Just respect him as it is. Okay. But I'm going DT Raider as well. Dad, you did good tonight. Oh, by the way, Dad, if you're still in there and you're still listening, we are going to get you on the show. So don't be hiding on us. If I have to drive to Oakdale myself to put you on the show, we're going to get you on the show.
Good luck with that.
Hey, as soon as who is it? You better open the door.
Yeah.
As soon as he opens the door, surprise, you're going to be on the show today. No, I'd love to get your dad on the show. Even if he doesn't want to put his face on the show, we can create some type of avatar for him.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun having him on the show because he's extremely knowledgeable person when it comes to.
He was a high school coach for years, coached some really great players in the Bay Area.
And used to go to all those meetings that like Bill Walsh and other NFL coaches would.
The coaching clinics, yeah. So, but in the meantime, we thank you guys for joining us on Show Me Your Shield. And absolutely everyone in here tonight showed us your shield. We appreciate that. And that's what we're here for. And like Captain Rafukio used to say, it's the Raider. There's only one nation, and that's the motherfucking Raider Nation, guys. So until then, till the next show, hopefully next week we can come on and you guys can join us again. But in the meantime, this is the finale. Got anything?
No.
Salute to you guys.
Salute Raider Nation.
Cold open, count it out. Yeah, we heard the talk. Cold nights and long losses, still we walk. Scoreboard hurt, but the heart stayed real. Still wear the black, still flash the shield. From Oakland roots to Vegas dust, pain in the season, but we still trust. They say it's over, I say move on, but